We're here in Houston, Texas, and we met up with Boyd Polhamus. And if you don't know who Boyd is, and if you're in the rodeo business, then you are probably living under a rock, because Boyd, you have been around.
I really have. Let me tell you, Scott, I've been blessed to announce some of the biggest rodeos in the country, but I feel the need to confess something.
Okay, go ahead.
So I contacted you guys.
You did.
Okay, and let me tell you all why. I was at Fort Madison, Iowa at the Tri-State Rodeo, and it was the first time in my life I'd ever seen a Speedmaster. And the first thing that struck me was how it was built. They had both a display model, and then they had one they were using to work the arena. So the first thing I did is walk around and looked at the way it was built, and went, wow, this thing's going to last a while. You couldn't wear it out. And then I actually watched Ron Stevenson, who's the ground guy in Fort Madison, work the ground with this tool. And it was one of the most amazing pieces of equipment that I'd ever seen in my life. And I thought to myself, I wonder why I haven't seen this more often. Where's it been hiding? Because when you think about the horse flesh that we use in the rodeo industry, it's diverse. Whether it's a bucking horse, a barrel horse, or a guy bulldogging or calf roping, you know, we need those horses to perform at their top level, both inside the arena and inside the practice arena. And it just shocked me that I hadn't seen one before. So I just wanted to get it out right away that I reached out to you.
There's a real hole in the rodeo and the barrel and the speed events, because the industry's been using the same technology for 30 years.
Yeah, no pun intended on the hole.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, right,
because there is. And I just often think, and again, I don't put my horse through a lot of trauma. You know, announcing a rodeo horseback is not hard on a horse. But I watch barrel racers go in the corners, okay? And I watch calf roping horses bury their butt with a 275-pound calf at the end of it. And I've seen bucking horses slip and fall. Yeah. And when we were done in Fort Madison, and I looked at how well the horses performed there, how even the runs were for the cowgirls and the barrel racing, I had to reach out to y'all going, okay, tell me about this piece of equipment. Yeah. Because look, I know of other places that could use it, and probably the most important place that should have it is the competitor's backyard, Scott, because you think the amount of money that they spend in supplements, the injections to keep their horses sound, and then they end up, even if they're blessed to go to a place that has, you know, the Speedmaster, still they spend the majority of their time at home working on something that's less than that. And I would venture to guess that more injuries occur in the home practice pen than actually do where they're competing for prize money. But either way, whether it's at the contest where there's money up, or whether it's in your backyard in your home arena where you're practicing, I think the number one thing you could do for your horse, I mean, you're going to buy a trailer that's worth hundreds of thousands of dollars to make sure he rides well. You're going to fill it full of shavings. Probably the best thing you can do for your horse investment is to have your practice ground and your competition ground be as safe and sound as it possibly can be. And if you're not doing that, you're doing two things. You're probably hurting your horse, and you're also hurting your ability to compete at the next level. So there's so many places, and so many places use the same drag for every discipline.
Right.
And clearly, somebody who's a show jumper is not going to want the same footing as somebody who's a reining horse, a reining horse guy. And so to know that y'all have put the time and effort into designing those pieces of equipment that would best suit the discipline. And I know in the rodeo business, one of the things we struggle with is, look, bulldoggers want a certain kind of ground, barrel racers want a certain kind of ground, the stock contractors who buck their horses want a certain kind of ground, and for us, for all those 7 different events, we got to try to find a way to meet in the middle, and that's why I think the Speedmaster does that beyond anything that I've seen anywhere else.
I mean, what you need, Boyd, is you need a piece of equipment that has the versatility and the flexibility within the tool.
Right.
To be able to adjust for the bulldoggers, or for the broncs, or whatever's needed, however they want it. The Speedmaster allows you to change that footing. And
that was something that I noticed. I mean, the hydraulics, the different options that are available for how you might set it, how deep. You know, it's an amazing piece of equipment. Which, look, I got to tell you, there's not many times you pick up the phone and call a friend of yours that you know knows the people and go, "What's up with this thing?" And I'm thinking, okay, well, I wonder where they get these built, because it's built well. And at the time that I saw it, all I could do was marvel at the way it was built. But y'all don't ship to China to get them built. No. We could save money.
In fact, full disclosure, because I see the Preferred name on your sleeve.
Right. Well, and I couldn't be more proud of you, because when it comes to manufacturing, Preferred manufacturing is first class. Absolutely. I mean, when they build a grade of product, they can tell you how many gauge the steel is, because they made sure of it. Instead of buying the steel from China, and China told them it was 20 gauge and it was really 22. So my point simply being is, after y'all told me that you enlisted Preferred in the construction part of it, it's still your drag, you guys own it, it's yours, but they're your manufacturer of it. I was like, no wonder I could see the quality in the paint, to the quality in the weld, that's why I'm saying, man, I don't know how anybody, if they used it 10 hours a day, every day for 10 years could ever wear one of these things out.
Well, it's one of our weaknesses. We build things to last.
Think about where we are in a society. I mean, my mom and dad had the same washing machine probably for the full 30 years. Yeah. I've been married 20 and I've been through 6 of them.
Right.
We're in a throwaway society.
Right.
But that's not necessarily good when you need to work your arena and your dregs broke down.
Right.
And it's not doing what you need it to do. Right. So I applaud y'all for not going that route. Yeah, there's probably more money to be made in replacement parts or repairs and what have you, but I'd much rather be proud to have your name on something that you know is going to last a lifetime.
Absolutely. Boyd, one of the reasons that I'm really interested in your perspective is because you have a different look on the rodeo and the speed world than a lot of the people we talk to. Trevor Brazil's a fan of ours. He uses our equipment. Strand Smith uses our equipment. I mean, I could go on and on of the people in this event world, rodeo world, that uses one of our pieces of equipment. And you're looking at these competitors and these horses, and you're looking at the effects of this on them, and it's just a different perspective. I'm interested.
I have a much broader view. In the case of both Strand and Trevor, world champions both.
Right.
I mean, if there's any other reason, any other reason to own one, it would be if that's what the world champions are using, that's probably what you ought to be using.
Right.
But for me, whether I'm horseback or in the announcer's booth, Strand's just one run. And Trevor's just one run.
Right.
Okay, I'm looking at it from a global view.
Right.
Okay, from the beginning to the end of not just the calf roping, but also the barrel racing, and how do the broncs hold up? Because I'm telling you, that's a part of the rodeo industry, and that's why I'm going to sing y'all's praises to every rodeo committee that I have. Because what happens is if you have bad ground and a horse feels it, he's not going to buck as hard. Okay, he's going to get scared a little bit, so he's going to be like a muddy arena. Sometimes they'll feel that mud and they'll just be different. They won't buck the same way. Well, it's the same way with bad ground on a dry arena. If a horse doesn't feel safe, then he's not going to give you your best trip, which means the cowboy, the rough stock rider's not going to have the best chance of winning. Okay. Number two, if one falls down, the stock contractor can't stand you, because that's an automatic re-ride for the cowboy. That means they've got to have that horse back there. Okay, and if horses are slipping and falling because of ground conditions, which I would submit is the number one reason horses slip and fall in the rough stock events, is because of bad ground conditions. And so for all those places that want to improve the quality of their rodeo, and they want to improve the quality of the way their horses buck and what their fans actually see, obviously having one of these would make a big difference in that. But for me, if I'm Trevor and I go out and I make a steer roping or a calf roping run and the ground's not good for my horse, I notice that, my run, okay? And if I'm Strand, I notice that. And if I'm a barrel racer, I notice that. But for me, I'm looking at it from the whole picture of the whole community within the industry. And then again, your products, yes, they're not cheap, but they're affordable.
Right.
They are affordable, especially when you start comparing them to surgeries,
right.
And some of the medical care that you have to put out, or the other equipment that you'll use to keep your horse safe and sound. It's probably, when it comes to soundness, it's one of the most affordable pieces of equipment you can purchase.
Right.
And so to me, that's a big move, I think, that needs to be made in the rodeo world and the speed event world, is making a move to tools that have the ability to give you the ground that you need, that allow you to practice and keep your horses sound at the same time. You get that, and then you're safe and you're practicing well.
And we get to, unfortunately, we get to hear the other side of that story.
Sure.
We get to hear the people call into our office and go, we just had to put our horse down. We should have listened to you 2 years ago. Or 3 years ago, we called and asked about this particular piece of equipment, and now we've spent $20,000 on vet bills and surgeries. And my God, I wish we would have listened to you to begin with.
Yeah.
We're always talking to the customer after the fact.
Yeah.
And somehow we got to get to the customer
before the fact.
Yeah.
Well, and to me, it really is a no-brainer. I mean, people buy insurance, okay, on the fact that something might happen. I'm going to insure this horse in case something happens. The best insurance you could have for your horse, it's good ground.
Yeah.
Because my brother's a farrier, and his favorite deal is no foot, no horse. Because I don't care what you do with your horse. If his legs and his feet aren't good, you can't do it with him.
Right.
And so his whole attitude as a farrier is no foot, no horse. Right? Well, if you're a competitor, you should have that same attitude about the soundness. Because I know of barrel racers who horses come up lame and they're out there struggling, trying to find another horse. They're making the NFR or whatever the case may be, and they need to find one. And man, they might have just fixed it by working their arena correctly with a tool that allows them. You might be in a place where you've got clumpy clay. Okay, well, the Speedmaster will help you break it up and get it at a depth that's safe and sound. You might be in a place that has deep sand. Well, they'll tell you to water the guts out of it, and then the Speedmaster will help you make it right. But it's as consistent as you can give that ground to your horse. All you're doing is ensuring his soundness, not only in the practice pen, but on payday.
Yeah. And don't we owe it to the horses?
I would.
Yeah, I mean, we get calls and the customer will say, yeah, but I'm not Trevor Brazil, and I'm not Boyd,
Right.
or I'm not...
Oh, I bet they're Boyd, because they get you cold, they're Boyd.
But here's what I tell them, but their horses don't know any different.
Right.
Their horse doesn't know that's not Trevor Brazil, right? No, that horse deserves to be sound.
Exactly.
Deserves to be safe.
And so I look at all, I was glad to see the USTRC raise everybody's numbers because mine finally went up. So that's how bad a team roper I am, okay? But at the same time, I go to a lot of different places, and I think of just the dollars and horse flesh that are there for my caliber of roper, okay? And we're all out there jackpotting, and, it's a 3 for X, or a draw pot or what have you. And I can tell you the horses that slip with 15-year-old girls on them, and down they go. They don't have to slip. Right. Does that make sense? I mean, horses shouldn't slip.
Right.
I didn't realize the science behind it. I didn't realize the amount of time and effort. When it came to your equipment, all I did was look at a piece of equipment at the Tri-State Rodeo in Fort Madison and go, that's built right. That's awesome. Then I watched Ron Stevenson work the ground, and I was like, okay. And so then I went to Will Sullivan and went, hey, let's talk about one of these. And so now here we are, we're talking about it together. And again, I just at the time, because we live in a world where people will take a rototiller and a piece of cyclone fence and drag it behind and think they got their arena worked. Yeah. And all they're doing is crippling their horses, and they don't even know it.
Well, what's unfortunate is that the average rider doesn't see below the surface.
Right.
All they see is that top surface.
Oh, and it looks pretty, doesn't it?
Yeah, you take a chin hairpin, you can make that pretty.
Yeah.
Or you can make that pretty.
Yeah, but it's that 3 to 4 inches underneath that affects the end result.
Exactly.
But here's what killed me, though. Okay, so now I'm curious, right? So I go to your all's website. Okay, so I Google, click on the website, and then I start going through all the other equipment you make. And I'm like, ooh, I could use that driveway tool. Oh, man. Hey, look at that manure spreader. I could use that manure spreader. And I started going through, because I'm sitting here thinking, okay, they're a specialist company. They're going to build arena drags of different varieties. And then I go and see all the different product lines that if they're all built with the same, and I haven't put my hands on those, but if they're all built with the same quality that the Speedmaster's built,
you got the I want?
Yeah, I got the I want. It was kind of Christmas time because I'm on my iPad. I'm like, honey, come look at this. Yeah. Anyway, so
she's going to put that down.
Right,
yeah, we don't need to.
So yeah, I just didn't realize all the time and effort and the science that went into designing each drag for whether you're a reining horse guy, a cutting horse guy, a Western pleasure guy, whatever, show, jump, dressage, whatever it is, you guys are involved in the footing for that, and it really, you have no peers. Because, there's nobody else that studies arena ground like y'all do. Now, there are other people who make arena products, right, but they don't study it like y'all study.
Well, Boyd, it's been a pleasure to talk to you. I'm really glad you took the time out of your day. You drove an hour and a half to
I did, exactly.
So that spoke to me. I thought, now this guy is willing to drive an hour and a half in the middle of the day.
And I wanted to know more, and I wanted to meet you all face to face. But I wanted to know more, and this has been very enlightening for me, very much so.
Appreciate
Thanks,
it.
Scott.
It's been a pleasure.
No, my pleasure.